This week for relationship talk, I want to talk about again something I didn't plan. I know my real talk video this week wasn't really planned ahead, and I'm not going to do a lot of planning ahead with this channel because, as I've said before, I want to jump on topics when I really feel like I need to address it and when I feel passionate about it at that moment. So, what I want to talk about with relationship talk this week is monotony. And monotony is basically when your relationship has just fallen into routines, when it's just not exciting anymore. You're not really happy. It's like you might be content, but you might not really be happy. And yes, there is a difference. Content means, okay, things are running smoothly. It's a tight ship, I guess you could say, but there's no thrilling at all. There's no spontaneity. None of that is going on. It's just boring, basically. And monotony is definitely an issue because if it doesn't end a relationship, I mean, it still makes you feel like you're just kind of sleepwalking through your relationship, which is no good. So monotony is definitely a big negative. And there are ways to deal with it, though, and the most obvious way is communication. You hear all the time communication is key. So if you feel like your relationship has become somewhat kind of mundane, you got to talk to it. And of course, you got to talk about it, but you also need to do it I'll just say this, you do it in a careful way because you don't want to make it sound like you're placing all the blame on one person. And honestly, I don't think it's ever just on one person that the relationship becomes boring. It's not just on one individual. I know that I was with a woman before that kept trying to put it on me that the relationship had become boring and not exciting. She acted like it was all about me. But the thing is, though, I made so much effort to get out and do things and this and that, and she never wanted to do anything. So to me, that was very hypocritical. You can't be a hypocrite. If a person is actually trying to get out and do things and, like try new restaurants or go places you haven't been before, this, that, and the other, then if you're the one always saying no, then you can't turn around and say this, is a boring relationship if you're not even making that effort. So it does require, effort from both people to keep the relationship interesting. And it really should be about doing new things. Dinner and a movie is okay sometimes, not every time. If all you ever do is dinner and a movie and maybe browse through a couple of stores, do a little shopping, it's okay, but not every time that you go out. You gotta mix it up. You gotta have adventures, basically. You gotta get out and try different things. I know the area I live near Myrtle Beach, and whenever I see couples, somebody that's in a relationship, on Facebook talking about there's nothing to do around here, and I've seen people even ask before, what can we do besides dinner and the movie? And I'm like, are you kidding? We live near Myrtle Beach. There is so much down there to do. So many new restaurants to try. There's they have Broadway at the beach is one of my favorite places. I know I've been there a couple times, and I've showed it on my YouTube channel, my main YouTube channel, and I may show some footage here as well. Some places that I go, and there's just so much down there. For example, there's a place called Brook Green Gardens, which I definitely want to do videos on. I meant to do it the past year, never really got around to it, but I definitely want to do that this year and show off Brook Green Gardens, one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. And it still amazes me that I live like less than an hour and a half away from it. It's gorgeous. I think a perfect place for a couple to go to. And there's just so many different things that people can do. And if you say you can't come up with ideas, you're not trying, in my opinion. You are just not trying. If you gotta hop online and look for dating ideas, do it. Find ways to keep things interesting. And then also, you gotta be spontaneous too. Mix it up. Do some things like spur of the moment. And I'll say this as well. Don't blame your finances because not everything costs much money. You could go and relax in the park together. Go for a walk. Just go sit outside and talk to each other. Just in that different environment, it can make a difference. There's so much that you can do that really doesn't cost much. If you're into reading, I know an ex of mine, we used to go to the bookstore, and we wouldn't always make purchases, but sometimes we would, and we'd browse through the books and everything and talk about them, and if we did make purchases, we talk about what we bought, why we bought them, and this and that. And we both were into reading, so sometimes we talk about what we're reading. Just I mean, there's a lot of different things you can do that really don't cost money or they don't cost much money. And also, if you live near a beach like I do, I mean, to go to the beach, really, it doesn't require that much money. You basically just need like gas money, maybe a little snack money or something like that, or you could even take snacks with you. And I know at the beach, you could pay for parking. Like they do have lots where you could pay for parking, or you can use a meter. I usually just bring a bunch of change and use the meter, and I go and sit on the beach for like maybe an hour or so, and it's so relaxing, and it's just whoever you're with, it could be a great time. So yeah, I think when people get into these, I guess, lulls in their relationship where they're feeling bored and everything, it's definitely because the effort is not there. It's just really not there. And I will say, if you're with somebody, think about it this way. Really, each person in the relationship, it is your job to keep the other person happy. And if you don't think it is, maybe you don't deserve to be with that person. You really should have that attitude that it is my job to try to make the person I'm with happy. That's a constant job. And it should be a job that you're happy to do, because you should be happy to be with that person. You shouldn't take it for granted. So you got to do things to keep it interesting. And we know as adults, and I'm not going to get deep in detail to it, but we know as adults that there are other areas of the relationship where you also need to make that effort to keep things interesting, because if you don't, I guarantee it's going to lead to problems. Now, I'll say this though, each person in the relationship, be responsible and don't make excuses. Like I said, communicate with the person you're with. Don't do things like, go, like I would say, like go and cheat. You don't need to do that. There's no excuse for that, really. I know people have tons of excuses, but when it comes down to it, that's not something that you have to do. That's something that you choose to do. So, yeah, if you feel like the relationship has gotten to the point where you can't be happy with the person, you either need to try your best to work it out, or if you see it can't be worked out, end it. You don't have to cheat. And also, something that people shouldn't do is, if you feel like you're not having fun with the person you're in a relationship with, don't just start spending all your time with your friends, because that's really not right either. So yeah, you just got to talk things out. That's really what it always comes down to. Communication is key, and you got to break up that monotony in the relationship, because if you don't break it up, either you're going to stay together and just continue to be bored until somebody cheats, or something dramatic happens, or you're going to end up breaking up. I mean, that's really all there is to it. So talk it out, and don't be afraid to talk it out either. Like I said, there's different ways that you can approach it. And just to give you one example, I would say, like, if somebody brings up, like, let's go to a dinner, let's go out to a restaurant, let's go out to a movie, you could suggest to them, well, how about if we're going to do that, at least let's try a new restaurant, and maybe let's even go to a theater we haven't been to before, like in a different area. Because I think something that's cool though is like sometimes when you go to a different theater and then you realize you're in a different area, you can check out some of the things close by. You might even discover things that you didn't know were in that area. And I don't want to ramble too much, so I'm going to wrap this up quickly, but I'll say this also. Don't be afraid to be big kids. You can do things that it's not really like age restricted. Like you can do things like miniature golf, which I've never done before. I actually would like to give that a try. I think that would be cool. Go to an arcade, laser tag, even just there are a lot of fun things that you can do. Just be big kids with each other. You should be able to do that. So yeah, like I said, I'm not gonna ramble about it, but that monotony in a relationship is no bueno, no good. You got to get that out of the relationship so you can be happy together, and never get complacent in a relationship, because if you take it for granted, there's going to be problems. That's all there is to it. If you take it for granted, there will be problems. And don't just focus. I don't want to forget this. I'm going to wrap up. I don't want to forget this though. Don't just focus on having your fun always keep your partner in mind. Think about how can we have fun. Now, you do deserve your time to do the things that you like to do. Like me, I like to play video games, so I'll probably always have my time set aside to where I can do that. And also, do allow the person that you're with that free time to do the things that they like independently. And if you see that you can get them your partner interested in those things, then do that as well. There might be times when I'm playing a game, but if I feel like it's something where I think the woman I'm with would be interested in it, let's check it out together. I know it seems like women that I've known really like fighting games. I guess because fighting games are pretty easy to pick up and play and have a lot of fun with. So yeah, share your interests as well, but then also you do deserve your time to do the things that you like to do independently, but try to limit that time. Make sure that you always have that time to have fun together, and your relationship's going to be a lot more healthy for that. So as always, I want to hear what you all think about this. Please make sure that you comment. I love to see the comments. Please share this video. And if you're in a relationship, share this video with the person that you're with. Talk about it together. And that's not to say that you have problems in the relationship, but just share it, talk about it. Maybe you could come up with some new ideas out of that of what to do. Even if you already are doing a lot of great things, maybe it could lead to a discussion of some more things that you can do. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up now. Like I said, I'm sorry I rambled there some, but yeah, again, passionate about these topics, so that's the way it will be. But thank you for taking the time to watch. Don't forget to comment, and I'll talk to you all again real soon.